Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second season of the Justin Masterson Show. We are here hanging out, doing the thing. And of course, as always, some of the stuff works the way I want it to, and some of the stuff doesn't. But that might be because my good buddy and pal has the mute on the USB side of things. You mind unmuting the USB thing there? Oh,
we should start over.
That's the joy of what this is, baby. See, we're not live, but we're live because these are the type of things that happens when we're doing the thing that we're doing, and it is lots of fun and enjoyable. So welcome to season 2. I mean, it wouldn't be fitting if there wasn't a little bit crazy. Of course, I'm Justin Masterson, your host and individual. If you didn't know, played Major League Baseball for a while. Now I don't. I quit so I could spend more time with my family, which has been pretty cool. And alongside of me, of course, we got
Night Rider, baby.
My guy, Matthew Zappasodi.
What's up? Welcome to the show, season 2.
Tell them about yourself a little bit. Just let them know how we're connected, why you're here.
I am jack of all trades, master of none. I've got a interesting story that no one ever really knows what I do for a living. so I kind of I'm like a spy. I can just make up whatever I want anytime. But I got connected with you through baseball, one of our mutual loves, other than Jesus and family and all things Mexican food.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really all food, but we also like to travel, so there's that too.
Yeah, we do.
Maybe travel to taste new foods is how we kind of bond together. But I got to know you many moons ago at a school that we played ball with together, and then kind of stayed buds ever since. And then I've been trying to figure out my way in ministry and in how to be a tent maker, as Paul decided to do or kept doing through his ministry. And so I do a little software. I do a little men's ministry called PHARE Warrior and Fight Club.
Yeah.
That you've been a part of for 10 years.
It has been 10 years, hasn't it?
We've been doing stuff together. Project manager by heart. And the more projects, the better. Just chaos. I've got 4 kids. Beat you.
You did. I only got 3.
An offspring.
You did. You beat me both times. Your oldest came, and then 4 days later, my oldest came.
That's right.
It's also the joy of we went to visit them in the hospital to see their oldest, and then right after we said hello, we walked down to the floor below them and got admitted so that we could deliver our oldest.
That's right.
Then you visited us on your way out.
Yep. Our babies were 0, 1 week, under a week old, hanging out together.
Yes. Well, we just I thank you for being here, and I thank all you guys for listening. Like I said, it's a lifestyle, but we're not necessarily recording this when this comes out. I think I'm going to have them come out again, Tuesday evenings, which I just think worked pretty well. And so if you can catch it live or when it first comes out, you do, or if not, you don't. And you'll hear the mess ups and mishaps that we might have in the midst of this. But for me, it's what makes it fun. It's what makes it real. Could also make it not fun for some of you because you don't want some of the realness. You just want to get to the meat and potatoes. But the idea is we're just here to somewhat entertain. Hopefully you'll enjoy this, but then also help you to grow in greater maturity, your ability to handle those big emotions well, and just kind of enjoy life in many ways, shapes, and forms. And so we'll do that through my idea is this season we'll still have some guests coming on, do some interviews, but keep it more of I got 3 questions that I want to ask. What's the hardest thing about what you do? And that could be for each individual different roles. Like Zappo, the jack of all trades, could be like, hey, what's the hardest thing about leading a nonprofit? What's the hardest thing about being a dad? it won't be both of those. It'll be one of those. And then can say, what's the best thing about it? And what's the best thing about being a dad?
You asking?
I'm asking, yeah.
Oh, do you want the hardest first?
No, I just want the best.
Oh, man. Best thing about being a dad
on the spot
is, we don't actually prep before the show. Man, just the fact you can be, I'm a kid at heart, and so I can actually be a kid with them, but that is the best. But it goes also with like, now though I can train you, and all of those things that is fun doesn't necessarily lead to quality of life later. So I enjoy the coaching, the training, but I am a baseball coach like you, and I want to go play with the kids. Like I'm also coaching, but I want to get on the trampoline and I want to go ride bikes, and I enjoy the physical activity. We're going hiking, biking this weekend. Like that gets me excited to engage with my kids and like train them on the fly.
Yeah.
So training on the go.
Yeah. I love that too. That's a fun thing to do. And so then the final question will just be, what advice, the premise of what advice would you give your younger self getting into this, or to somebody else who's in the midst of whatever's going on? So what advice would you give a young father?
Number one advice, that's easy for me. You got to focus on the lady in your life. Without you guys as a team, it doesn't matter how good you are. It's not going to, it can work. Don't get me wrong. If you're in a situation where you've gotten divorced or you're single, like there's hope.
Yeah.
God's not leaving you out to dry and hang you out for the rest of your life. But if you've got a partner, you got to pour into them. That's the best advice I can give. And then stay on the same team.
Yeah, staying on the same team. That is it's very challenging sometimes, because we can get frustrated and lose the sight of the beauty. That's one of the things that I think always gets us right back into it. If like when you're frustrated, upset, unsure, like remember back to like there was a time that you actually liked them. And what was that? How can I re-see the beauty and then concentrate on the beauty of what they are, and not just all the things that I want to fix and think that need to be. So I'd call that, we keep the relationship bigger than the problem, because when the problem becomes bigger, every person in front of you, your relational circuits go off. Every person in front of you becomes a problem to be solved, or some sort of enemy who's trying to get at you and get away from you. And so we don't want to be in enemy mode. We want to keep those relational circuits on and be filled with joy. And that always starts with being a little curious and appreciation, showing kindness, and having some eye contact, which spells cake. I didn't come up with it, of course. Nothing that I talk about I come up with, because there are people way smarter than me, and I just utilize what they got. Isn't that right, Zappo?
Yeah, I mean, we actually are in a culture of summary. So the Western way of education is here. I got this big textbook, and I want you to take a test over like 10 things. Read a book and then give me a 3-page synopsis and a cliff notes. And so it's actually pretty normal that you do that, because that's the way we were taught.
Right.
But you and I have been going through a Eastern, I guess, way of thinking spiritually.
Yeah.
Or maybe holistically. And so I've actually been challenged in this, because I'm totally cool with you just taking other people's stuff. Like, I love it. You should. But maybe we need to quit the summary and give them more of the bigger, longer. But the problem is then our shows go too long.
Yeah, our shows already go too long.
Yeah,
and,
I know.
And so that...
you just need to email Justin and set up some one-on-one mental coaching.
There we go.
Which we can do virtually. So no matter where you're at, YouTuber, you can connect with Mr. J. Maybe they didn't even know they could connect with Masty.
Maybe not.
How do they connect?
Well, you can go on Instagram, but if you follow me enough, you know that I don't do great popping on and off of Instagram. There's the Justin Masterson Show. There is a Twitter that's technically there, the JM Show 63. And there's an email that I don't know if it actually works.
I think it does. Nobody emails us.
Somebody emailed me.
Oh, geez.
And they were like, it kicked it back. So it was Masty at the Justin Masterson Show.live, which would be in the show notes. And we'll see if it actually works anymore.
I'll send some testing. I'll get your producer on that.
Okay, producer, get on that. So we're excited. We took a little break for the summertime. I don't know about you guys, but we have kids' sports and life and vacations and just family time to be able to be together, and extended family times to be able to be with them and to be with friends and just kind of enjoy life. Get away from trying to produce, create, or earn, and just be. Which I know everyone has some jobs and stuff that you can't just run away from, even though it's summertime. But even so, it's just an opportunity to rest a little bit. Even if we have the normal 9 to 5 or whatever other work, we can still mix that in and not have all these other things piled on. So we appreciate you coming back for season 2. And the first, there's no guest today. It's just Zappo and I. But I got a story to tell, because there's always something fun and enjoyable that's just coming my way. The last year and a half has been awesome, and so it starts with Zappo. Has anyone ever stolen anything from you?
Yes, I've also used to be a klepto in my youth, so I'm fond of these types of things. It reminds me of what not to be like in my adult life.
Oh, so it was you. Oh man, I don't know what's
sounds awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if awesome is the word for it, but it does not sound great.
Maybe it's better that I muted it.
It might have been, at least for that. Something not coming through great with that. We'll keep doing that. But
yeah, stolen stuff. Yeah, I mean, you actually were part of the biggest theft in my life, so that one was at your house. But yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about that one, but that's not the one. That's not what I'm going to talk about right now, because that happened before, which is a story for another day. But a buddy of mine borrowed my boat, which I have a boat on Geist, a little Regal 2300. Nice little bow rider. Got it in 2015. Family and I like going on it on the little reservoir right here, doing some tubing. It's always fun, and then just swimming in the water, which people say is not the cleanest of waters, but that's okay. It's still enjoyable for us.
Yeah.
And so
Indiana.
Yeah, he borrows the boat, and he's like, "Hey, I lost one of your bumpers. Bumpers are the things that go on the side so that you don't like ram into the docks or whatever. Or if you're hanging out with other boats, you put it there so you don't just hit things." I'm like, "No problem. You can get a really cheap one online and just put that back on." So everything was fine, and then he orders it, picks up the bumper, and like 4 days later, he goes back to the boat to put it on, and my tube is gone.
Which he had with him?
He had tied it up the way that we usually tie it up, and the one end of the rope is still on the top of the tower, and the other he wrapped around, one of the, I can't think of the name, the clings, whatever, the things on the side, anchor cleats. There we go. One of the cleats. They tie that too. And he comes back. He's like, he sends me a text and goes, "Hey man, I might owe you a new tube." I'm like, "Well, what do you mean?" He's like, "It's not here." And so we think for a second. I'm like, a hint of like frustration of like, what, like, how do you lose a tube? And then we talk through it, and like, okay, the weather maybe blew it away. And he's like looking around. He's like, "I don't see anything. Did you let somebody borrow it?" And I'm like, "No, I did not let anybody borrow it." And then we think some more and go, like, it'd be really hard for the wind to knock the rope that was on top of the tower off. So the tube would still be connected.
It would just be like dangling out in the water.
Right. It'd just be hanging out, wrapped around the corner and maybe another dock or something, for sure. And so we're like, hey, what? Maybe someone stole it. Well, the dock has some cameras. But it is not easy to get connected and find what those things are. So I send an email out, or actually I try and call the HOA people, crickets. Actually, I get the secretary, and okay, I'll connect you to so-and-so. And then it ends up like hanging up on me. So I was like, that's not helpful. Then I finally get it and leave a message, no phone call. So then I find an email, and I send an email, and thankfully he quickly after the email sends me the information to sign in to the cameras to start looking. Whew. The search that we had. And so then, did you know that these cameras don't just record?
They just do motion?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a big reason for that. But go ahead, why?
Well, do you know that they don't turn on for every motion?
Oh, yeah. The sensitivity is an issue depending on how close you are. You can set up the settings and like turn that off and on. And yeah, because every little bug and mosquito could do it, or you can have it pretty obvious. So let me guess, you didn't find it.
Well, it took me a while to get there, but eventually I do find some information. And so I don't initially see, well, first off, I start from the first day that he gets in. And the nice thing about it was you could see the red tube on the back of the boat. And so I could just keep popping through camera days and be like, oh, video, which uploads very slowly, doesn't go very fast. And I'm like, oh, red tube there. All right, let's go morning, red tube, evening, red tube, morning, red tube, evening. So the day that he comes in to replace, the morning of that day, he's replacing the bumper, tube's still there. I'm like, okay. And then I go into the day, tube's gone. Interesting. But actually, before we get there, I accidentally went on the cameras on the wrong day. When I first started looking, it was, July 25th, and I went on an earlier day in July, and it just happened that the camera piece that I pick, I see, like through the shot, I see someone messing with my tube, and I'm like, oh, I think I got him. This person, that cuts off, and then it cuts back on, and I'm like, oh, this might be the person. And I go, that's me. Because that was the day that I used the boat. And so it's me walking up there, and I had got the tube ready to then put it on the back, because that's why I couldn't see it, because I was putting it on the back.
All your listeners think that the end of the story is going to be that you actually stole the tube by accident.
That's the idea. Or that Adam, my buddy, accidentally stole it. But now I got the cameras.
Okay.
And I find this camera angle, and I get to see at the tail end this boat pops in right next to my dock. Well, there's usually no one in the slip next to me, so this is odd to me, and they just pop in real quick. And then I'm like, ooh, like I want to, it's a little bit of a distance, and I'm not totally sure who this is, so I'm trying to find other camera angles because I have access to other dock feed. So I'm checking these other camera angles. It's not clicking in the way it should. I find this other boat that pops through, and it's like 3 minutes before the other boat, my suspect right now, pops in. So I go to the other dock, I find that boat, and I'm like, oh, perfect. 3 minutes later, this other boat's going to come. Guess what didn't set off the motion? The boat that I'm looking for, which is extremely frustrating right now. I'm searching all these. It's taking a lot of time. It's slow. It's a daunting task to look all these things up, but I do enjoy the search of what it is. So I finally go, you know what? I found it, and I send the video of the guy walking in, and we get the tube. Like, this person took my tube, but it's still a little bit of a distance away. So now we have to do some more work. And so I take it and I send the video to my buddy who had rented the tube.
Do boats have license plates?
They have not license plates, but they have the ID markers on the front.
Would that even be big enough to see?
No, it would have been if I could have found it on the other dock.
Other camera.
Yeah, if it was on the other dock, it would have been perfect. But unfortunately, it was not. So it was on this other one. And so it's still a distance away, but I can tell who, there's an individual, they're taking my tube, and I can see the type and style of boat that it is. And so I send the video to my buddy, and then he kind of crops in, enlarges, and sends it to his son, who just happens to work at the marina, which is awesome. And so this son of his is like great investigative work, like very proud of the work he did. I'm not going to name names on here, for this, just in case.
Sherlock Jr.
Yeah, we'll call him Sherlock Jr. Like, did some incredible work out there. And so he just goes to work. He's showing this to like his manager. They find out that it's a rental boat. So somebody rented this boat, and they find it online, who has this. And so then the people who rent the boat, or usually rent the boat, they come by the marina. And my guy, he's got no holds bar. He just comes at him, and he starts saying, "Hey, do you know who rented the boat out on July 25th at this time?" No, and they're acting a little bit like, whoa, why are you talking to me about this? And so he's asked them a few questions, and then and they're like, well, I don't think anybody had our boat at that point. So he shows them the video, and they'd already just told him that they dock like kind of around the corner. And so he shows them the video, and they're like, oh, that's our dock. And he's going, that's not their dock, because that's by Justin's dock. So something is not right here. And then they start talking about like a tube that's missing or stolen before he starts talking about a tube. Like, he didn't even bring it up. They brought it up first, that a tube. And he's like, his just little inside blinker lights are just going like, there's something going on here. And so then they exchange numbers, because they were like, we're not totally sure. So exchange numbers in case they find something. And he calls me, and he's like, Justin, I found the people. Like, it's just shady. And I'm like, okay, well, shady's not going to help us. Did they say they took it? Like, no, they didn't. But I just know something's off here. And so I'm like, all right, well, keep at it, and we'll see what we can do. Well, he starts texting with them, and they were just talking about these things. Well, it turns out that they saw the tube. Somebody who was like working on their boat or something had the same style of tube, and then the tube wasn't there anymore. And so he was talking about how his tube got stolen. So these people pass along the name of this guy, because they're like, wait, this is really weird that two people would have their tube stolen, right?
The tube stealer on Geist.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on Geist for like 9 or 10 years and leave the tube out all the time. Nobody takes tubes. Nobody takes stuff off of people's boats. It's
like pirate stuff. You just don't do that.
Yeah, it's a gentleman's agreement. You just don't do those things. And so you're there, and you're fine, and you have no problem leaving this stuff out. And so it's got to be someone else. Of course, rental boat, somebody who's not usually on it. And they send this information, and I'm not going to use his name. We'll call him Mike. Mike Jones. Oh, for you old people. A little hip-hop. So they give Mike, and they give his number. And so I go online and look up Mike Jones, and I'm like, oh, okay. I'm starting to see who this Mike Jones is and all this different stuff. And so I sent him a text. Actually, first I sent some information to my cop buddy. I was like, hey, I have some good evidence of somebody who took my tube, and I have their information. Do you think it's a good idea to send them a text, or to just file a police report and go that route? And he was like, well, I mean, might as well just try and see if they'll respond, and you can get this taken care of and not have to deal with anything else. So I sent him a text. Crickets. I get nothing. I sent on like a Wednesday. No response. And I was trying to be really nice. It was very simple. It was, hey, Mike, use the first name. I was trying to be very, very kind and generous, whether I should be or not. I mean, that's what I was trying to be. And so, I'll just read it because it's here. Say, hey, Mike, my name's Justin. I'm hoping we can figure this out with no trouble. I have a video evidence from my dock camera that you borrowed a tube. And I said borrowed. I was trying to be generous. And wrote from my boat without asking. I was hoping that you would be willing to return it to me. It's easy to be mistaken, so there would be no hard feelings. And I can understand if you don't want to respond and admit guilt in a text. So please call me, and we can take care of this confusion and not have to involve any police. Oh, that sounds nice, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty direct, but it's very kind.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I was meaning to be direct.
Yeah, you're not leaving for discussion. You're really just giving them an option.
Yeah, this is it. This happened. I seen it. Like, just let's go. Let's move on with it. And so then I get nothing. And I'm like, all right, give a few days. Somebody's thinking about their options or whatnot. And so then I come a little bit and I use the last name, Mr. Jones. I'm just trying to get my tube back. I don't want to make this a bigger deal. Mistakes in judgment will happen. Please respond with where you can return my tube to me. Thank you. And his response is, your tube back? Question mark. What?
You intrigued him.
Well, because I got a little more. I was direct before, but this time I'm a little more intense. I felt like using the last name. It's like, I don't just know your first name. I know your last name too.
Yeah.
And
Mr. Jones, who resides at blah, 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 Oak Ridge Road.
Nope,
Yeah.
see, not, yeah, exactly. I do have all that. But in case I had to file a police report.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, sir. I'm not sure I know what you're talking about. Can you elaborate, please? What? You don't know what I'm talking about? Okay. So then I go right into it. Like, you talk about direct. He doesn't know, so my mind goes, on July 25th, you were on a rental boat. Video shows it docked next to my boat, and then my tube and rope were removed from my boat. Oh, are you referencing one similar to this? And then sends me a screenshot on from the web of what my tube was. A little Super Maple, 3-seater, the red and whatever. And I didn't think about it at the time, but somebody was like, when I was telling the story, they're like, you know what? He's probably asking because he's got so many tubes, he doesn't know which one is the one that you're talking about.
Yikes.
Oh, but I didn't think about that at first. And so I said, yes, I am.
Yes, I am Mr. Kolakowicz.
Yes, Mr. Mike Jones. And so then you get the text. The text of Mr. What was the name of that guy back in the day who stole your stuff? Andy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We're not using real names, though.
Oh, yeah.
Fake name,
I'm
Andy.
using that, Andy. Andy who stole it, and once he got caught, starts crying and sobbing, and the detectives were like kind of laughing because the grown man kind of crying. And here it is. He goes, absolutely. I still have and have zero problems returning to you. I planned on returning that day, but we ran out of gas, and I had a heck of a time returning to the dock. I apologize for taking without asking. Truly, ! I just got out of the hospital yesterday. I have pneumonia, but planned on returning to dock when I recover. However, I'd be willing to return to you today if you'd like to just tell me where to take it again. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have used it without your permission. I did deflate and fold it up, so it wasn't left out. I'm thankful you reached out. I was just trying to have a good time with my son on his first time on the water. I know that doesn't make it okay, but I'm a single father, and I know this could have resulted differently. May I ask how you got my info so I can thank them as well? Again, I apologize. I truly do thank you.
Wow. There's so many excuses. You could pick any of them.
Yes.
And they might work for some people, but not you.
And he picked every single one of them.
I mean, little kid, swimming, boating, single father, pneumonia, but I'm okay to meet you today if you want.
Yeah, I just got
It's not that bad. Hospital. Did he say he was broke?
He did not bring up the broke card.
Okay, well, because he's selling tubes.
Yeah, he's probably making. He's not broke. He didn't think about that because the money's not down yet. He's still working on his skill set. But
it was an accident that he took it. Did he say it was an accident?
Yeah. He was just borrowing it.
Oh,
so
okay.
Which I gave him that lingo, so that's okay.
Yeah.
But he's like, I was just borrowing it so we could have a good old time. I planned on returning it, even though my dock is all the way pretty much the opposite side of where he would be boating and doing his thing. Like, there's not really a reason for anyone to come happenstance around my dock unless you're fishing, unless you're doing some bass fishing, and that's the only people that come. But even better at the end, may I ask how you got my info so I can thank them as well? No way.
Heartfelt.
Come on. You really think I'm going to give you the information so that you can thank them?
Thank him with a headlock.
Yeah, so you can go cause trouble and, maybe beat them up or do whatever. Who knows what? But the guy is in the handyman and set up security business on his side. It's not real good that he has access potentially to people's places and maybe on his own. And so I said, thank you for your response. I hope you had a good time with your son. But I would just like my tube back. And so I said, here's where we can meet. What time do you want to meet? He said 2. I said, all right, well, let's do it. I'll see you at 2. And then my wife and youngest daughter were like, Dad, honey, I don't think you should go meet him. I'm like, why not? Well, what if something happens? I'm like, what do you mean? What's going to happen? I'm meeting at a gas station in broad daylight at 2 o'clock. Like, if he pulls a gun on me, what over a $250 tube? I'm like, dude, you can have it. Like, all right. I figure he just won't show up if all is said and done. But well, maybe you should just take your gun just in case. I'm like, that's just gonna heighten and accelerate all the different things. Like, it's okay. Like, we're not gonna have trouble. I'll step out of the vehicle and everything's gonna be fine, because all of a sudden the 6'6" big old ball guy gonna be stepping out of the vehicle, and it'll be okay. And so sure enough, guy gets there.
He showed up.
Guy gets there early. I mean, supposedly, like, I'm on the way, and he texts me. He's like, I'm here, in the 300. And I assumed it was a Chrysler 300, which was fitting, highly tinted windows when I get up there. And he was there. And I pull in, and I open the door. And, yeah, for a split second, when you have these highly tinted windows, I'm like, yeah, I'm not sure. And the door barely opens, and then it opens up. I'm like, all right, here we go. This guy walks out, just as you thought. Now, it did look like maybe he could have been a little sick the last few days comparatively to where he had been. Yeah, I don't know if he coughed like once or twice. I don't know if that was like a purposeful cough. Yeah, I got the black lung, Pa. And so he's like, yeah, I'm so sorry, man. And I gave him the little fatherly advice in mind. Like, dude, thank you for this tube. Put it in the back. You don't owe me anything more. I'm just going to give you a warning. Like, I don't think other people are going to be as gracious as I am right now. Like, I got this tube. I'm willing to do this. I'm not going to make a bigger deal about it. But just know that, like, you have access to things in people's lives, and you may already be on that path of doing that. And this is the first time you're getting caught or a big deal of it. So maybe I should make a bigger deal about it than I am. But I'm not going to. This ends here. But I would recommend that you watch out what you do with yourself, kind of after this. And he's like, oh, yeah, so sorry. Didn't mean to. I don't know. All the dumb excuses. Or I'm like, just sometimes you just want to slap somebody to wake them up and be like, just stop being dumb. Now, go back in your vehicle, and I'm going to go back in my vehicle. And hopefully we don't see each other again.
And then you asked for $20 for the rental fee.
I should have. Man, see.
And you had to pump it up.
I did have to pump it up, but it's okay. Tube back, it was fine. Rope was back. Everything was good. And I was very, very happy. But surely there was a process. And I don't know. I don't know if everyone would be as gracious. I don't know why I was gracious in that moment and not trying to, like, bring him down to Chinatown and just wreck his life. I don't think it was even because he had a kid or anything like that. I don't know. What do you think about that?
It's like those non-violent, low-end. It's like remember when somebody, like, stole golf clubs out of your garage? And I had, like, my stereo system ripped out of my car a couple times.
Yeah.
They're always, like, just small enough items where you're like, this is super annoying, and I just lose trust in people.
Right.
More than I care about the golf clubs or the whatever. but now I've got a chip on my shoulder. Like now I've been offended by the universe. Like homeboy, you actually got to meet, which is like super rare.
Yeah.
I think the golf club guy, they did get that guy to, they like caught that guy. I think, I can't remember now. Didn't they get your golf clubs back?
I think so.
Yeah. The guy was dumb enough to continue to hit the same neighborhood over and over
again.
But honestly, that's not that surprising. I say dumb enough, but it's like, well, if I did it once, like I could just go back. Nobody caught me the first time. Like
Right.
I stole 3 tubes last week. I'll just steal this one this week. Like whatever. Maybe he's never stolen a tube in his life, but
maybe not. But
we've encountered these guys enough to know that it becomes a habit.
I mean, he is in my phone as tube stealer.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing that
But
pops
to answer your question, I would say you are unique that you gave the gracious option, the generous option, but you also had some perspective in the matter. So the fact is, there wasn't a violent incident. They didn't wreck your boat. They didn't slash your tires. They didn't break into your house.
Right.
Non-violent crimes can still be super offensive that way. Like you kicked my dog. That whole like skit is offensive because you like came into my world and disrupted it. And I kind of wonder if it's not actually about the crime. There's like what you did, but like how you did it. And so in some ways it's like, you know what? I'm going to teach my kids and my family a lesson as what you preach. Like
right.
The problem isn't bigger than the relationship. The interesting part here is you don't even have a relationship with the guy. But I do know that you love mysteries and solving stuff. So in a way, you're like, I could just stew on this and find out. Since you smoke your pipe, you're like, Yeah. And if they didn't have video evidence,
Sherlock Holmes,
it would have still caused you to think and like wonder, but then that could have turned to bitterness. And
for sure.
I think we have like this bitter mentality in life where it's like, you stole something from me, and the crazy thing is now I'm the one who swallows the bitter pill. Like the dude who did the offense doesn't even get bitter. The dude who did the offense doesn't even wreck his life.
Right.
Like I mean, maybe they go to jail, or maybe they have to pay a fine, or maybe they have a felony, whatever. Like that could wreck your life in some way externally, but like the offense, the guy who got stuff stolen is the one who has to deal with this anxiety of others, and now I don't trust people, and it's like the enemy actually didn't have to. He just had to plant the seed and let it grow in your mind. He didn't even have to give you the distrust pill. He just gave you this like, I wonder if they're going to steal from you too. Don't trust that guy. You know what I mean? Like,
well, it makes you. Other people stole some bigger stuff, but it's like, it does. And in that moment, as I'm listening to you talk, it gives that fact of my pops was just talking about this weekend, but the idea of forgiveness, and like forgiveness is not for them; it's for me, the forgiver, because ultimately, to your point, like. I could allow it to turn into bitterness. Like maybe if I don't even get to solve this, it does. It turns into bitterness. People are terrible. I'm just saying the world is out to get me. God doesn't love me anymore because good things are happening in my life, even though I know that I am loved by him and that I have right relationship with him, and there's nothing greater than that. And that doesn't mean things will happen good in my life. It just means I have him to comfort me and be there and enjoy the things that are around me. And it's one of those where that bitterness can set in, but from the get-go was just like, dude, it's not all right that you give that or you did that, but I'm not going to hold on to that so much so that I lose myself in the midst of this, and I lose my ability to connect with other people because of this. Like, yeah, I'm still going to be a little more hands-off on some things, a little more weary when people say some things or do some things, but I'm not just going to sell out all humanity. I'm not going to sell out everything. And for them, go like, hey, you may go and steal something tomorrow. You may be in the midst of going to steal something, but hopefully there will be some sort of conviction in it. But I'm not going to allow that to continue to eat at me and tear me apart and just ooze this bitterness that then I just push onto everyone else, because it's when people are upset and bitter, they tell the world, woe is me, come with me and follow me. It's like, no, deep breath. This is not great. There is a conclusion to this which is helpful, and this is not for every situation when someone takes something, and not every moment and everything. I mean, people have had stuff done to them and other stuff. Is it harder to forgive? Oh, absolutely. But the same concept is there. Forgiveness is not for them, it's for you. And forgiveness doesn't mean it's okay for what you did. But it's like, I'm not going to let that continue to tear me down and take me with you.
What's interesting, too, is we try to fix people once we've caught them. So if this was a serious matter like rape or like stealing my childhood, like you took something from me that I'll never be able to get back. This idea of like, if you only knew how much it hurt me, that would fix you. And then when you're talking about it, it's like that person hopefully has empathy and learns that they were wrong.
Yeah, hopefully.
But it won't fix them. And ultimately, like the only way that is going to get fixed is through our Creator, God, that can heal and teach. And the conviction part, we actually use the word like you've been convicted of the law. The conviction part is actually like the spirit in our conscience that like the world might call it. It's like, no, that's like actually potentially the spirit telling you like that's wrong. Mm-hmm. And here's how the right people live, not this way. And you've got to turn from it. But if I confront that person and I'm free from it and I ask for forgiveness in a way, whoa, you were the one that was offended. How are you going to ask for forgiveness? Doesn't even make sense. And it's like Jesus is like, I'm going to turn your world upside down, and I'm going to ask for forgiveness for the ones who offended me. And Jesus on the cross is saying that, like, whoa. But if we know we're not Jesus, but if you can get in that mindset, you're completely free. We just talked about this earlier before the show.
Yeah,
like you're free to be who you can and want to be, who God's created you to be, and it has nothing to do with their offense now.
Right. The more mature that you get, and I still love the definition of maturity is the ability to handle your emotion, the big emotions that come your way, and still act like yourself. When you get to that point and can still act like yourself, there's the freedom in that. Like the more that you know, the more that you understand and truly live it out and appreciate it, then you are free to be able to forgive. You're not just stuck in the mode of like me, mm-hmm. Everything surrounds me. And it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt, it doesn't take away what took place or the pain.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that I want to be this guy's buddy.
Right.
I'm going to bring him in. I'm going to change him for Jesus.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't mean that I'm going to, in this scenario, if I were to see him again, wreck his life and wreck his world, that can be a harder one for other things, in that the ability to recover mm-hmm. and restore from that is much different in many different ways. Restoration is a little bit longer and deeper and further along process than we sometimes even allow it to be. But when we can take those things that easily entangle us and go, okay, here we go. I know this person has no clue what they're doing and what's going on. And I'm going to stand in my maturity and be able to take an open look at this. And some people are like, you're just being soft and don't want to confront and do this. It's like, no, I don't have to get offended at everything that is done. Because if we take this even a little bit farther and not just go the big crazy stuff that happens, because really in this everyday life where somebody's saying something we don't like, they're saying something where we're like, they just did that on purpose because they know. And it's like, no. Yes, they probably did. Yes, they did, and they probably will again because they like the reaction. The little kids do it. You hang out with little kids, they do it because what? They get a reaction. And so what are kids? They're not mature. They're maturing. And so when you see adults do that same thing, what are they? They're still maturing. And when your response is just getting crazy, instead of be like, dude, just acting like a child. And so now I can come alongside and be like, yeah, I remember when I was a kid and I acted like a child. And now I'm not, so I don't. but I can understand why you do. So I'm going to come alongside you and see if we can adjust some of those ways, just like physically dealing with children. But a lot of times people have trouble with children because they get frustrated that they're not more mature than they should be. And it's like, yeah, but we're not mature. So we need to continue to work on this and to grow in this and be better. And then all of a sudden, wow, then we'll find the freedom that God has for us. Well, that was nice. And still,
well, if you guys are struggling with forgiveness and some of this on the deeper matters, not just the tube, email Justin and like I said, get some one-on-one time with him. Masty at the JustinMastersonShow.live. I promise the email will work by the time you hear this. And I think it's worth a while digging into this, because there's a lot of bitterness that comes out when we get offended. Mm-hmm. And so, way to go, Justin. Whether that surfaces and this guy ever comes out of it, but hopefully. And if nothing else, you've grown from it. So
I have, and I got what sounds like the techno version.
Yeah, I thought it was a remix.
Yeah, but it's not. It's whatever's causing the staticky. But either way, hey, thanks for joining us for episode 1 of season 2. We're glad you're here. As always, we got to have some sort of audio issue that's crazy for us. We'll always figure those out. But thank you again on behalf of Mr. Matthew Zappasodi and myself. Thanks for listening. Got any problems, any issues, or whatever, go ahead and email me, Masty at the JustinMastersonShow.live.
Don't forget our sponsors.
And our sponsors, PHARE Warrior. We got Fight Club event coming up here soon. Sign up. We got golf outing. And then we also have a kickoff for round 20. 2-0. Been doing it 10 years. And along with Wayfinders, people trying to do a great job of equipping the saints for the work. Peace out.
Peace.